Peter J. Gossett. Peter, the last time we were together filming, I believe, was at the Lynn Cemetery. Do you recall? I think you had just...
I had just finished the book on the history of Lynn.
Oh, turn that around and show viewers.
And I believe we went down to Blackwater Creek.
Yes.
Bridge.
Yes.
That was the last time we were filming, I believe.
Filming, but we see you often with at the archives, the Winston County Archives, and I just want to mention the last article. You're now on staff with the Northwest Alabamian. Yes. How long has that been, PJ?
I've been there since April, and I enjoy it. I love it.
We are loving your work.
Thank you.
And this last Alabamian, well, I don't know if it's the last, September 5th, people might want to pick up this particular edition because you've done something. Now, who was the guest that night?
His name is Robert Pasquale. He's with a former archaeologist with the Bankhead National Forest. And
he shared 2 old photos that I'll just bet that people have not seen.
No.
This one is not the famous Rabbit Town Inn, you said.
No, it's not. According to what he said, this photo was where you turn off the Kinlock Road to head toward Sipsy's across the other side of that road, which is about a mile from Rabbit Town where that Forest Inn was. Okay. But since that was published, we've had several people come up and tell us that it wasn't there, that road, the Crannell Road that goes to Sipsy now, was not there then, so we're still looking to find out more information on it.
Okay, well, maybe you'll do another article when you do locate the exact location.
I'm sure we will.
Okay.
And the other photo is the Haleville Hunters and Fishers Club in 1926. It burned, I believe he said in 1933. I have it in the article.
Yes, and people need to get this edition because this is just a great article because Bankhead National Forest is now going to be 100 years old. What year? This year?
No, it was this year.
Oh, this year. 2018.
2018. It was formed in 1918. And this other picture, the Hunters and Fishers Club, it was located at the area now, what is the Sipsy Recreational Area.
Okay. All right. So near Falls City at that time, maybe?
This is actually on the other side of the county, toward close to Haleville.
Is it really? At the other end?
Yes. Let's say if you're going up 195 and you're in Rabbit Town, and you turn right for 1 mile and then turn right again, a few miles down there is where Sipsy is located. It's close to the headwaters of the Sipsy.
Okay, so this is not near the recreation area that's not far from Duncan Bridge. This is not the one.
No, that's Clear Creek Recreational Area.
I tell you, you did a great job on this, and people just need to get it. But especially if you missed out on this book, you still have books available?
There are a few still available at the Lynn Town Hall. They're still selling some there. So whenever she gets low, I can order some more and give it.
Oh, okay, I see. But it is fabulous. Which cemetery in Lynn did you take us to? And it's still on videotape. People can still, they can still pull up that videotape.
It must just be the Lynn Cemetery.
The Lynn.
They're in the main part of Lynn.
Pages in here. I could not believe the reference you did on this.
667 pages. That's
Oh.
how many pages it is. Well, with the index, it's more. No, 667.
There's one story that bears repeating about the dog in Lynn that used to hitch a ride on the train by himself and go to Nauvoo. Tell us about that.
Page 544. Jim Barton's dog's name was Rex. George Hall lived at Nauvoo, and their families was all friends, said Ruby Fletcher in an interview I did with her on December 5th, 2013. So that dog was used to going to Nauvoo, and he got to where when he took a notion, he would hop up in the baggage car And when the train got to Nauvoo, he would get off and go out to George Hall's and stay maybe 2 or 3 days. He would go back out to the depot and catch a train coming back to Lynn and come home.
And he even knew the direction.
It's amazing.
I think that was the favorite story in the book. I love that. Do we have any idea about what year that dog was hitching a ride on the train?
I'm not sure. Probably in the 30s.
Okay.
Somewhere along in there, I would think.
It's amazing. He knew which direction the train was going.
Yes. And on this here again about Sipsey,
Okay.
that was located, as I said, at the headwaters of Sipsey, where the Hubbard Mill was located. Do you remember the covered bridge photo from the 1920s, or but maybe it was even before?
Okay.
Up at where the Kinloch Falls is.
Yes.
It's right in there. It's not far from there.
You took us there, and PJ, we just can't say enough about the Double Springs. So the Winston County Archives, Genealogical Archives, is one great place for research. And you had a great part in that, and Diane Miller, Treva Hood, you three, I think, were the backbone of that, and along with a wonderful group, on the board of directors. We heard about you from Jerry Lovett and Jasper, Sunday school teacher, Dr. Lovett, and we heard about it and started coming up. But I tell you, I would say it's the best in the state. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so, because there's a lot of work that's gone into that. We lobbied for years trying to get a building, and when we finally got it, now we're filling it up. It's getting full. If someone wants their family history done, the only charge is for paper and supplies and things like that to have it printed.
It is a wonderful deal, and these people are absolutely fabulous. They're working on ours right at this time. We are thrilled, and they found out things, and some of my husband's older family members that are no longer with us, I just wish that they could have seen. There were family lines that we were stumped on that they have found. Oh, my. His grandmother, James Claiborne Lee, was married to a Brookshire. We had nothing on her family. And you should see, they've got it back to Germany, I think. Incredible, incredible. What a wonderful, wonderful group up there, and we can't thank you enough for all your work. And so we're glad to see you're on staff with the Northwest Alabamian. We are enjoying your work so much, PJ. Just can't say enough. But when we were up here, we were in the area again for another filming, and people can see that. It was Bald Rock when,
Yes.
tell us about that, when the men had met, and this was a divided county, very much so, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But they were hiding out to either keep from getting killed by home guards or the Confederacy soldiers coming through.
They were pressed into service.
They were.
Unwilling. Yes.
And they were hiding out at Bald Rock in the rock cave beneath the Bald Rock. And they got a group together and had a big meeting down there at that place and joined the Union Army.
And some, great many of them went on to Mississippi.
Yes, they did.
And then
There were several hundred, if I'm not mistaken, that met there one day.
it was amazing. These Winston County people were incredible, weren't they?
Individualism. That's the word that's used to describe them sometimes. Individualistic.
Well, we're just so happy. Again, we can't thank you enough for the work at the Winston County Archives. And people, if you have not been there, you need to go there.
Absolutely. The people that needs their research done, they don't have to be from Winston County. They'll do it from anywhere. And I appreciate special people in places getting the word out, and they're into history, and you need to go there.
Yes. You also did an article. We recently had Gary Taylor, Dr. Gary Taylor there, and you did an article on his presentation, didn't you?
I did, and I believe it's in the same issue.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong, but
Okay. Well, this is an important issue you want to have. It's September 5th.
yes.
Dr. Greg Taylor was there, and the girls up at the archives call him
Dr. DNA.
Yes, and you've captured that with a nice article. So, again, just important work. You're just carrying on from what you did at the archives, really.
Right. A lot of the time, that's what I do.
These the archives have these really great speakers, and so it's always good to capture that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Because, I mean, that's history, too. And once those people are gone, a lot of that history is lost. And it's always my philosophy to try to at least audio record things. And because oral history is lost, and that's a lot better sometimes than the written history.
Oh, yes. You can research all you want to on the computer, but there's nothing like a story from firsthand knowledge or what they've heard coming down from the family.
Yes, just like the story on the dog.
PJ, Rex, that dog, oh, I love that story. I'm glad you got that.
I am too.
But we were kind of curious. You were telling us the last time we saw you at the archives, you said something about you had done some research and discovered something about wires. What was that, PJ?
I've known about it all my life. It's called dowsing. Some people call it divination or witching.
Oh, wait a minute. Again, you were telling us about, I thought you had done research on the computer and found out about this. This is interesting. Tell us this.
Yes. Basically, when I was my dad made these for me. It's nothing but 2 pieces of copper wire with handles. And I've always known about trying to witch for water. It's a similar process as the peach tree limb, which I have seen, and it does work. But back in the early 2000s, I come across this article where people were using this to find graves. And I got to reading more about it and thinking about it, and I started trying it. And it actually works. And some people say it's pseudoscience, where you're just faking it.
Oh.
But anybody that tries it, I mean, they're a believer then.
Oh, so anyone with copper wires.
Any kind of wire.
Any kind of wire?
Any kind of wire works, as far as I know. I have not tried. I just haven't done much to it.
Well, we can try it.
Yes.
And how is it supposed to work, PJ?
That's the big question. No one seems to know. We don't know any science behind it. The only thing I can come up with is it's some kind of magnetic field, because it doesn't work just for graves. I mean, it'll work for a rock in the ground, anything on the ground or in the ground. A tombstone, asphalt, a rock, a body.
So when people are trying to discover these graves out in the country, and they think they remember where a grave was, but the marker has long been lost,
Yes.
they can try this.
This is perfect for that, because you can walk over the grave straight, and it'll cross, and then when you get to the foot of your grave, it's going to uncross. So you can kind of maybe get a can of little paint and mark those areas. And then you can go back crossways over the grave and watch when it crosses and uncross and mark those. Stand back and look, and you're going to have the outline of the grave.
Oh, be.
And also, if you hold one up, and if you're standing on a grave, I guess, if it points to the west, it's a female, and if it points to the east, it's a male.
Oh, really?
That even crossing the wires and everything, that sounds a little far-fetched. But what I just said, that sounds out in outer space. But every time I've tried it, it's worked except one time over one grave when I was up around in Pebble. But every other grave I've done, it is accurate.
Well, do you suppose that grave was empty?
Or perhaps maybe the tombstone was offset a little bit. That's a possibility, but
Interesting.
yes.
But it's so hot, we decided to sit in the shade for a bit. So why don't we get on our sun hats and just go try it?
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay.
Let's go.
Now, PJ, you had another little added thing here. You have some straws.
Yes, this is just a regular straw from a restaurant. If you put them in the handles, it's a good way to show anybody that you're showing this to that you're not actually moving these things. They're moving on their own.
Oh.
So this way you're not touching the actual wire. You're just touching the straw.
All right. Well, start again at John down here. Start at the end. And so those, you've got it in the straws, so you're not touching them.
Since I'm not touching these, they're going to be kind of moving
Okay.
like this.
Okay. They're loose in there, so they're moving.
These are very loose in here, but it's still going to be it's a windy day, but it should still work. They're crossed. They're moving because of the wind a little bit, but they're still crossed. I'm not touching anything but the straw. And then the uncrossed.
PJ, that is amazing.
Yes, they'll do the concrete.
Let's.
See. Okay.
Okay. Look. Oh,
They're
PJ,
crossing.
they are crossing. We must apologize to John for walking up and down his grave. Is that not amazing? And then when I go over his marker, now they didn't uncross that time.
They're trying to.
They're trying. Okay.
I think that might be the way you're holding it.
Oh yeah.
But now with the straw,
Yeah. Let me try it again. Okay. I see what you mean. I'm kind of resting on my finger. So just loosely.
yes.
Okay. They are. Look at that. Is that not amazing?
Yes, it is.
Now he's a male, and this thing is turning which way?
It's trying to turn east.
Okay. I'll move my position, and it's trying to turn east.
Mhm.
This is just amazing.
There it goes.
PJ,
It
that
pointed
is.
east.
Yes, it did. Oh, and your daddy showed you how to do this and made these for you.
Yes. At the time, it was just for water.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't learn until I was in my 20s that you could do
Awesome.
this for graves as well. And therefore, I learned that it works for other things. Water lines. Hey, I use these if I need to dig up a water line.
Oh,
It'll cross right over it.
it'll cross at your line.
It'll point. It will, like if you're walking over a water line and it points like this, that's the way the water line is going.
So it'll actually turn horizontal
Yes. Yes, it will.
in the direction of the line.
In the direction of the line. Down, and that's right there at the beginning of that scene. So I'm going to walk sideways. See, they cross.
Amazing. Truly amazing. So you were not holding them all.
Holding straws with 4 fingers. Well, I was holding the straw with 2 fingers and 2 thumbs. And I'm not mashing down on them or anything, and But see, I'm holding it this way, and it's pointing east, which that must be the male. But it went all the way around again. It's because of the wind. But generally, it's trying to point east.
All right. Amazing, PJ.
Try it with a straw.
Okay, I'll try with a straw. And
Just hold the straws.
just hold the straw. Initials.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
They're already trying to point. They're crossed.
My goodness. They are crossed. They're crossed. They're crossed. And this. Do we have to hold them near the grape? Oh. It's going what?
Going west.
Going west. So that means it's
Female.
female. Oh, gee. That's amazing. Truly amazing.
Let's try that. It's a good thing to do that.
Okay, try it on the one that we know.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, on this side, Cass and Jim. I guess this is the female over here. This is Cass. Well, the day is just suffocating hot, but yet there is a little breeze, so don't complain about that breeze. Okay.
I'm being real still.
Okay.
And you're pointing west when that's a female.
Yes.
I don't know. Haven't tried it. You know of any that might be? Graves?
I don't know.
Probably be one that's not marked. Guys are buried him anyway. I don't found any unmarked, have you? That is grave is unmarked.
Yes. There's a new cemetery that was found up towards Sipsey, the same place that I was talking about earlier. We're calling it the Old Hood Cemetery. And we saw one rock. Well, no, I take that back. We saw two rocks. Nothing marked on them or anything. And I took these and we went out there and I would walk in a line and then walk the other way. And Ronald Jackson would spray paint the ground wherever they crossed. And then when we got through and looked, it's in the shape of graves. And the other places that were not marked. So we put crosses up there, or we put PVC pipe in the ground there.
Uh-huh.
We were to the cemetery yesterday where there was 300 slaves buried.
And just rocks left.
Hardly at all.
Mm-hmm.
But they're mainly unmarked
Wow.
on that site there.
Oh, wow. What?
There was a Union soldier who got killed in Tennessee.
From here.
He was from here.
Here.
His name was Green B. West.
Ah.
And they buried him right off the Byler Road. And it's right beside Concord Cemetery, but it is actually not part of that cemetery.
Oh.
The Sons of Confederate Veterans, last I checked, was looking into getting a tombstone for him, a military tombstone.
That would be nice. Now, this old road, any idea if this was a logging road or just an old trail?
I think this was just something that the current landowner did as a trail. But the rock houses is almost this high, I think.
Huh. Oh, my. Oh, it's just pristine beautiful, isn't it,
It is.
down there?
Just untouched.
It is. After all, I can see why he would be concerned. Now, if we had not had this rain, this heavy rain the last couple of days, this would have been dry,
Yes.
wouldn't it, PJ?
Mostly dry.
Mostly dry. We're here today on Bald Rock to continue our studies about Winston County with PJ Gossett. PJ, you've outdone yourself today. I mean, I didn't know anything like this existed and couldn't wait to see it. But now, it's not rumor. You said definitely our Confederate soldiers, or those that were dissenting and didn't want to be in the Army, came here.
They did. They came to Bald Rock. What it is, it's a natural wonder. But what's so special about it, really, is underneath this is a rock house.
Oh.
It's a dry cave where they hid out to avoid being conscripted into the Confederate Army. On this rock, right where we're standing, and over 100 men stepped out and joined the Union Army and formed Company L of the 1st Alabama Cavalry. And this rock is keeps going. It goes 600 feet, the length of 2 football fields, back that way.
Bald Rock.
And we're at the rock house where they hid during the Civil War.
I see what you mean, PJ. People coming up on that Bald Rock up there, they would have no idea
They wouldn't.
this was under here.
And because of the terrain, it would be hard for an attack, too.
Okay. It's a perfect hiding place.
Okay.
My. It truly is beautiful. They would have no idea there was a hiding place under here.
No. Unless they were told. And the person who told John Phillips was Buck West, who lived in this area. And John Phillips' descendant brought us down here in 2007. His name is Don Umphrey.
Oh.
He wrote a book based on his ancestor John Phillips' story called Southerners in Blue, They Defied the Confederacy. And it mentions this place in here.
All right. Well, I'll be anxious to read that, PJ. Now, who is that said he was going to stay down here until moss grew on his back? The Dodd?
Bill Dodd.
Bill Dodd. PJ, thank you for coming out today in the sweltering heat, although we did have a little bit of a breeze. But again, people can contact you at the Northwest Alabama. You want to give the website?
Yes, the newspaper website is mynwapaper.com. So it's like mynorthwestalabamianpaper.com.
You always welcome anyone that wants to do an article